You are driving home late, your stomach is empty, and you are deeply hungry. Up ahead, you see a glowing fast food sign shining in the dark. You pull into the drive-thru. You order a double cheeseburger and hot, salty fries. A voice from a speaker tells you the price. A few minutes later, someone hands you a warm paper bag through a window. You do not think twice. You unwrap the paper and take a big bite. You trust the paper wrapper. You trust the giant company. You trust that the cheap, easy food in your hand will feed you and keep you safe. Or at least you trust that it will not make you violently sick. But let's take away the paper bags. Let's tear down the glowing neon signs, turn off the car engines, and completely erase the last 10,000 years of human history. Imagine waking up in a wet, noisy, ancient rainforest. There are no drive-thrus here. There are no dollar menus. The air is thick and humid, and your stomach hurts because you are absolutely starving. Everywhere you look, there are wild plants, twisted roots, strange berries, and crawling bugs. It looks like an endless, beautiful buffet. But what we think we know about this natural world is completely wrong. Nature is not a fast food restaurant. It is a minefield. In the wild, every single bite is a high-stakes gamble. You either get energy or you die. To understand our ancestors, you must understand a massive biological problem. Humans are omnivores. Some animals, like koalas, only eat one thing. Their bodies know exactly what to do with eucalyptus leaves. A lion is a carnivore. It eats meat. But humans can eat almost anything on Earth. And because we have so many choices, figuring out what is safe is a terrifying job. In this ancient, brutal world, calories are the only thing that matters. You are hungry. Your family is hungry. You see a bunch of bright, shiny red berries hanging on a green bush. They look like pure energy. They look like they could save your life. But plants do not want to be eaten. They cannot run away from you. They cannot hide in the shadows. So they fight back with invisible chemicals. They fill themselves with potent poison. Make the wrong choice, and those bright red berries will make your throat swell shut. Eat the wrong wild root, and your lungs will simply forget how to breathe. There is a tiny, fragile circle of safe foods. Outside that circle, you die. So how did we survive? How did early humans find their way through a deadly maze of poison and become the most successful eaters on the planet? It started with our biology. Long before our ancestors could speak, their tongues did the thinking. Over millions of years, the human mouth became a highly tuned testing lab. When our ancestors bit into a wild fruit, the sweet taste sent a huge, happy signal directly to the brain. Sweetness was nature's absolute promise. In the wild, there are almost no sweet poisons. Sweet meant safe. Sweet meant life-saving energy and rich carbohydrates. But the back of the tongue was different. It was always on high alert. It was deeply suspicious. Humans carry a family of about 25 bitter taste receptors on the tongue, known as TAS2RS. When an ancestor chewed an unknown leaf and tasted something sharp and bitter, they quickly spat it out. Bitterness was nature's warning sign for plant toxins. The ugly face you make today when you taste a bitter vegetable is the exact same face your ancestors made to spit out deadly plants. We even evolved a built-in psychological fear of new foods called food neophobia to keep our children from eating strange, toxic things. But taste is just a simple alarm. It can stop you from eating poison, but it cannot help you find dinner when food is scarce. So our ancestors did what humans do best. They watched. They became the greatest spies in the forest. Long before modern science, there was animal watching. Our ancestors stalked through the trees, carefully watching the monkeys and the chimpanzees. If the monkeys stayed away from a bright fruit, the humans left it alone. If wild pigs dug up a root and ate it safely, the humans remembered what its leaves looked like. They let the animals take the deadly risks of trial and error. But trusting animals had a fatal flaw. A bird can eat a berry that would stop a human heart. A rat can eat poisons that would destroy a human liver. Watching helped, but it was not a guarantee. To survive and conquer the planet, humans needed something much stronger. They needed a library. This is where the story shifts from biology to human culture. The ultimate survival guide wasn't written in a book. It was spoken around the warm glow of campfires. The older people in the tribe were not just grandparents. They were living encyclopedias. They held the memories of thousands of years of trial and error. When an elder pointed to a mushroom and said, "Do not eat this," it was a deadly serious warning. It meant, your great-grandfather ate this, and we watched him die by the river. Every single safe plant we eat today was found because someone in the past guessed wrong and lost their life. For those unlucky guinea pigs who tried the first toxic mushrooms and perished, their sacrifice protected generations to come. But remembering and watching weren't enough. The real turning point was when we learned to cheat nature. Our ancestors didn't just map out the safe foods. They learned how to take the poison out of the dangerous ones. Take a journey thousands of years ago deep into the Amazon jungle. Here, people discovered a huge root called cassava. Cassava is a miracle plant. It grows in bad dirt, survives without rain, and hides from bugs underground. There is just one problem. Raw cassava is full of a chemical that turns directly into deadly cyanide gas when human enzymes and teeth chew it. Eat a raw cassava root and you will suffocate from the inside out in just a few hours. How did ancient people figure out how to eat a deadly weapon? You cannot just boil it. You cannot just bake it. The native people invented an amazing, complex process. They learned to peel the thick skin, mash the inside, and wash it over and over. They squeezed the poisonous juice out using a special woven tube hung from a tree. Finally, they roasted the dry powder over a fire to burn off the rest of the poison gas. If they missed a single step, the whole tribe could be paralyzed or killed. Who was the first to try the washed and roasted powder? How many died figuring out that step 3 couldn't be skipped? We will never know their names, but their scary, brilliant testing gave humans a crop that feeds 500 million people today. We see this same brilliant cheating all over the world. Take the Greenland shark. The fresh meat of this massive shark is completely toxic, but ancient people figured out that if you bury the gutted shark in gravelly sand, press the fluids out with stones, let it ferment for up to 12 weeks, and then hang it to dry for months, it becomes safe to eat. Or consider early America and the birth of corn. If a group of people only ate corn, they got a horrible disease that caused rashes, confusion, and eventually death. The human body could not absorb the vitamins trapped tightly inside the corn, but forgotten geniuses figured out that if you boil the corn in water mixed with wood ash from the fire, the ash frees the trapped vitamins. This simple science trick, called nixtamalization, built entire empires. Beyond processing, our ancestors unlocked the ultimate survival tool, fire. For a long time, we thought only recent humans cooked, but a site deep within South Africa called Wonderwork Cave changed everything. Here, roughly 1 million years ago, an ancient ancestor called Homo erectus cooked their food. Scientists found the microscopic, charred fragments of wild game and ancient roots buried near deep cave hearths. By analyzing the chemical structure of the burned bones and plant ash, they proved the food was cooked at a controlled temperature, safely insulated from any natural lightning strikes or wildfires. They didn't just burn it, they cooked it. Cooking destroyed toxins. It killed harmful pathogens. It softened fibrous tissues, unlocking massive calories that allowed our bodies to grow bigger brains. For decades, modern people assumed meat was the only thing that drove human evolution. We imagined our ancestors as pure carnivores, constantly hunting. But the fossil record is finally speaking, and it tells a different story. Scientists recently drilled into the fossilized tooth enamel of a 3 million-year-old human ancestor called Australopithecus. By testing tiny amounts of nitrogen in the enamel, they discovered these small-brained ancestors were mostly plant eaters. They were not heavy meat eaters. We can actually read the menus of the dead by looking at their food prints. The microscopic wear on ancient teeth reveals exactly how they chewed. If you eat hard nuts, your teeth are riddled with tiny pits. If you eat tough leaves, your teeth are covered in long, parallel scratches. A famous fossil named Nutcracker Man, or Paranthropus boisei, had massive jaws and incredibly thick teeth. For years, scientists swore he spent all day crushing hard nuts. But under a microscope, his teeth had no pits. They had only wispy scratches. Chemical tests on his carbon isotopes proved he was actually eating tropical grasses and sedges. Even Neanderthals, famous for hunting huge Ice Age beasts, had the remains of wild barley and cereal grains trapped in the tartar of their teeth. What does this tell us? It tells us that our ancestors ate whatever they could find on the biospheric buffet. They ate the good, the bad, and the ugly. For hundreds of thousands of years, this was our sacred deal with the earth. We respected its incredible danger. We listened to our elders. We trusted our senses of taste and smell. We survived because we understood nature's brutal, honest rules. But what changed? If our bodies are brilliant survival machines designed to navigate a toxic forest, why are we failing now? How did we go from fearing a toxic root in the Amazon to eating food that constantly makes us sick today? So what exactly happened when we finally stepped out of the wild forest and into the bright lights of the fast food drive-thru? The modern food world is the villain in this story. In just a short 100 years, a blink of an eye in human evolution, we completely changed how we get our food. We took away the natural plant poison, but we unleashed a totally new kind of danger. Food companies, armed with science and massive budgets, cracked the secret code of our ancient brains. They understand that you still walk around with the exact same brain as a hunter starving in the wild. That ancient brain is desperate for 3 things: sugar, fat, and salt. In the wild, these things were incredibly rare. Finding wild honey was like winning the calorie lottery. Finding salt kept you alive. Our ancestors' diets contained moderate, balanced, natural fats, and disease was nearly non-existent. Today, the fast food menu is built entirely to trick that ancient programming. Companies found the bliss point. This is the perfect, unnatural mix of sugar, fat, and salt that makes your brain feel incredibly happy. It artificially turns off your body's natural signals that tell you to stop eating. Your tongue, the very tool that kept your ancestors alive by warning them of deadly poison, has been weaponized and used against you. When you drink a modern soda, your body cheers. It genuinely thinks you just found a life-saving, sugar-packed fruit in the middle of a desert. It commands you to drink more and store the massive energy as fat to survive the hard winter ahead. The biological impact is devastating. Because of this modern convenience, chronic inflammation and diseases like diabetes have skyrocketed, rising from just 1% of the population in the 1950s to nearly 7% in recent years. But the winter never comes. We are living inside a beautifully packaged trick. Our biological alarm system, built over millions of years during times of brutal starvation, is hopelessly confused by an endless mountain of junk food. We are the first humans in the history of the world to eat too much food, but still not get the actual nutrients we desperately need. Look again at the crumpled paper bag on your passenger seat. Look closely at the printed logo. We have willingly handed over our survival to someone else. We no longer ask the elders what is safe to eat. We ask the government. We ask the corporation. We no longer smell our food to see if it is rotten. We trust the window worker handing us a box. We traded the hard-earned, blood-soaked wisdom of our ancestors for things that are easy, cheap, and quick. We gained safety from sudden death. We no longer have to worry about cyanide hiding in our meals. But we lost our profound connection to the earth. When you hold a raw vegetable in your hand, you are not just holding food. You are holding the ultimate winner of a million-year war. You are holding the result of countless ancestors who tasted, suffered, died, and learned about the world in a way we can hardly imagine.